is that when it feels scary to jump, Ian, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life. And that I can't do.
So many lives would transform overnight if they realized my life sucks, I have nothing going for me, really means I have nothing to lose. And that makes you a very dangerous person.
And so you can flip the fact that you have nothing going for you with you have nothing to lose. And that means that you can take lots of risks very quickly and end up in the exact same position you are, which is nothing. And so if you eliminate downside, it should decrease your action threshold, meaning you should be able to do more things faster rather than do fewer things because you don't have a great life or things going for you. And so I think if people flip that, a lot more people would take action because they actually realize the advantage of their position.
You have to take risks. Playing it safe is gonna get you a paycheck for the rest of your life. If you ain't willing to risk, then you ain't willing to win. And when you lose, don't blame it on nobody else but yourself, because you're the one that put the risk out there.
I'll tell you something about nature. Nature never allows you to fall on your face if you take risks. Never. If you laugh, you risk appearing to be a fool. If you weep, you risk appearing to be sentimental. If you reach out for another, you risk rejection. If you love, you risk not being loved in return. If you place your dreams in front of the crowd, as we do, you risk ridicule. If you go forward in the face of overwhelming odds, you risk failure. But risk must be taken, for the greatest hazard of life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, has nothing, does nothing, is nothing. That person may avoid suffering, pain, and embarrassment, but that individual will not learn, grow, feel, love, or change. Only the person who takes risks is truly free.
Excellence. You have to obsess at it and risk everything for it. You have to, or it's not going to happen. No one's going to do it for you. But what else are you going to do? What's the alternative? Yeah, this sucks, but so does a cold plunge, and so does this, and so does that, and so does that. You have to. What else are you going to do, man?
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks.
You got to be willing to make the hardest decisions.
Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living.
If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that bill from regret is generation. And there's a lot of people listening to this that bill has been passed on from generation to generation, and you are holding that bill right now. And somebody has to pay that bill off in order for the generation to move on.
For me, when I thought about leaving my job and starting this company, I knew there was a good chance that it would work, but I also knew that when I was 80 years old and thinking back over my life, I would never regret having tried and failed, but I might regret having never tried. And when I thought about it that way, it didn't actually seem like that big of a risk.
Because nothing changes and nothing changes, man. We'll sit around forever wondering, well, what if I
wanted to project myself forward to age 80 and say, okay, now I'm looking back on my life. I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. And I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this. I was not going to regret having wanted, trying to participate in this thing called the internet that I thought was going to be a really big deal. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that that would haunt me every day. And so when I thought about it that way, it was an incredibly easy decision.
You have to understand, this next 5-year window is when you don't go practical and safe. This is not the time to get the job mom wanted you to.
Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive.
What would you do if you weren't afraid? And I love thinking about that when I'm thinking about big life decisions. Like, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And it's usually like the big one.
the bigger thing that I really want to do, but I'm afraid to do it. It's like, that's what I should do. And what would I do if I didn't, if I knew I couldn't fail? I will never wish for fewer epic stories at the end of my life. And I've never regretted failures. I've always regretted things that I didn't try. A lot of times when it's like we have this anxiety around this big decision we have to make, if you actually take the step and realize that it's not death, you're not going to drown completely. There's plenty of other steps you can take from there, even if you get a little wet.
Well, you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. It's like the first thing you want to do is dispense with the idea that you get to have any permanent security outside of your ability to contend and adapt. It's the same issue with children. It's like you're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. And you might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years, you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
Just get a stable job, just get an easy job. Don't go too flashy, don't go too crazy, don't go too risky. There isn't any risk. That's what people don't understand. There is no risk when you have nothing. When you're a peasant, that's broken. Yeah. You have no risk, nothing. The risk is living the life that you currently are living.
Yeah. You need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, in uncomfortable scenarios, okay? If you do easy things, you will have a hard life. If you do hard things, you will have an easy life. Let me say it again. If you do easy things, you will have a hard life. If you do hard things, you will have an easy life. As a man, you have to understand that we as men, we do better in environments where we are uncomfortable, okay? You put pressure on a rock, it turns into a diamond.
We all live inside a bubble, right? This is our world. We go to church here, we work over here, we go get our coffee over here, we go to this park over here, we usually go over here, hang out with friends. This is our favorite club. This is our world. This is our favorite spot on the beach. We all live in this bubble. What you gotta do to get the life that God wants you to have, you gotta put more air in your bubble. You got to blow your bubble up. Expand yourself. Take yourself out your comfort zone. Do not live in your bubble. Put some more air in your bubble. If you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you will fail. You will fail in your comfort zone. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you ever want to be successful. Start putting some pressure on. Put some pressure on yourself. Get out here and get about it. Look, I'd love to sugarcoat this thing for you. I'd love to tell you, look, you can go out here and get rich, do a couple of things. Dang, they happen. You got to get real doggish. You got to get downright funky if you want to make it.
The better you are at dealing with stress, the more successful you will be, because as you climb up the ladder, the stress level increases. It is a direct positive correlation between success and stress. They go together. There's no light without dark. The more money you're paid, the more important you are, the bigger your problems. I said it, more money, more problems. It goes together. I'm not complaining because I'm prepared to handle those problems. But as you get bigger and larger and larger and larger, the pressure is heavier and heavier. So you're going deeper in the ocean. As you go deeper in the ocean of success, the pressure around you gets stronger. Only the strongest submarines can make it to the bottom.
You don't get to be successful without risk. Investing grows your money quicker than anything. You can't work that many jobs to keep earning money. You gotta have some money sitting somewhere that's working for you. Your job is to work to make the money. And then you gotta get your money to work for you.
If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did.
I'd like to know when you're in that moment failing and you have to keep going, what do you say to yourself?
What if? A lot of times I'll be in a 200 mile run or something like that and I'm all jacked up. Body's broken, mind's broken, spirit's broken. I start to say, what if I can pull this off? It's the what if I can pull off a miracle. What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be? And just me talking about that, I have the hair going up on my arms because it makes me just like, what if I can be that guy that people who call nigger and this and that? What if? That's it.